welcome to Saturday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic and a puzzle called 10:01 AM by CaptZebraCakes, surely the most extraordinarily named constructor in the Sudoku world. And CaptZebraCakes has produced a puzzle that is apparently an amalgamation of sort of 10-line logic. These are they orange or yellow? It says orange in the instructions, but they look quite yellowy to me. But any of these lines here are 10 lines, and the grey lines are palindromes, and yeah, there's just white dots as well. But that's all. And I guess 10:01 is a palindromic time. I'm not sure why it's AM rather than PM. Is somehow are these lines pointing at 10:01? I'm not sure. Someone will have to explain, but this has been recommended. In fact, it got recommended again last night with a fulsome recommendation. So this is why we're going to try it. I think 98% approval rating on Logic Masters Germany. 4 stars out of 5 for difficulty, so it might be a challenge. We shall see. But I'll read you the rules properly in a moment or two's time. Before we kick off, what can I tell you about? Well, let's start with Crux by Jay Dyer, which is this very, very long video that I recorded a week or so ago of my attempt to solve that puzzle. It took me 2 hours 42 minutes to complete the puzzle, and I didn't think there was an earthly chance anybody would want to see that, but certainly the feedback on Patreon and the feedback on videos has suggested you do. So that is going to appear on the channel tomorrow morning at 10 AM UK time. Make of it what you will. If you do like it, do let us know though. That would be very kind of you. Anyway, that's coming tomorrow morning, 10 AM UK time. Also on Patreon at the moment, of course, we've got Demono's Sudoku Hunt, which is our November competition. Still 9 days left if you want to be in with a chance of winning the competition. So get your entries in as appropriate. It's a storybook Sudoku Hunt. We're going to be streaming on Tuesday at 10 PM UK time, not 10:01 AM, 10 PM UK time. We're streaming this game, the Chants of Sennaar. And loads of you have been writing to us about this, and you do seem to be overwhelmingly positive that this is a good game for us to try. So we're looking forward to having a crack at it, and we'd love to have your company if you're so minded and are free. And then the big news in town is that we have a new Kickstarter launching also on Tuesday, which is a Fog-Of-War venture. Let me find some graphics for you to show you. It's a narrative-driven Sudoku adventure, something that we've never done before. We think it's going to be, well, we know it's going to be fantastic actually, because because I've tested the puzzles, that's how I know. And I also have had sneak previews of the story, and the story is written by none other than Peter C. Hayward, who is the multi-talented and very, very smart writer. The artwork, as you can see here, it's from Hayley Mooney, and she is an absolute wizard. And the Fog-Of-War Sudokus are by Sandra and Nala. And there'll be opportunities in the Kickstarter to expand the range of authors for more Fog-Of-War as well, which is going to be fantastic. Anyway, that's coming on Tuesday, so look out for that. And I don't have a link for that yet, but I should do soon. Now let's do some birthdays. So I want to say happy birthday to Hayley, who's turned 22 today, and I know this because your friend Tabitha wrote to us, Hayley, and said you'd appreciate a shout out. I think the two of you are over in Boston, Massachusetts, which is a place I have never been to, but it's on my list. I do want to go there one day. I just haven't been yet. Next, Michael, it's your birthday, and I know this because your wife Riley wrote to us, and apparently you both watch every evening. Well, that's very kind of you for doing that. And Michael, I hope you have chocolate cake today. I hope Hayley has chocolate cake as well. Sorry, I forgot to say that. Then Savannah, your partner Benjamin wrote to us and told us it was your birthday today. So I wish you a very happy birthday. Although I am going to say Benjamin rather meanly then concluded his email by saying that he was a big fan of the New York Times puzzles. And could we beat his New York Times mini crossword record of 9 seconds? That is a sick time. 9 seconds. I'm not sure we can beat that. Don't you have to be an absolutely superb typist to get 9 seconds? I think those are... They're not even that tiny, are they? You could have sort of 7-letter answers in them. Yeah, that's really impressive, Benjamin. And slightly, yeah. No, it's just it is just really impressive. Well done. Anyway, Savannah, happy birthday. Shouldn't all be about Benjamin today. And then finally, I've got 3 birthdays. So Hardy, Callie, and Winston. I know it's all three of your birthdays this month, and I know this because your dad William wrote to us and told us, and apparently you're all on a big vacation right as we speak in Disney World, which is fantastic, and I guess you can get very good cake at Disney World. So to all 3 of you, Hardy, Callie, and Winston, many, many happy returns. And that's the birthdays. Why don't we turn our attention now to CaptZebraCakes' puzzle? Whenever I say that name, it makes me smile. These are the rules. Right, we've got normal Sudoku rules apply, so we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box. Digits along a grey palindrome line must read the same forwards and backwards. So okay, so what that's telling us is that those 2 digits are the same. Palindromes mean, yeah, well, it means the same. It's like the name Hannah, H-A-N-N-A-H. You can reverse it and it will still read exactly the same way. So these 2 cells have to be the same digit. These 2 have to be the same digit. Those 2 have to be the same digit. And that one is in the middle of the palindrome. So that has no equivalent. So that's like the word robot. That is the B of robot. It has no repeat in its palindrome. Now, what next? Why did I say robot? I was thinking rotor. Robot isn't palindromic. I was thinking rotor, and then I didn't really like rotor for some reason, so my brain told me robot. Robot's not a good palindrome. Ignore that completely, and think of the word rotor, which is a palindrome, and the T of rotor has no equivalent. Gosh, what's wrong with my brain? This doesn't bode well. Now, next. Each orange 10 line consists of a contiguous group of cells, each of which sums to 10. Contiguous just means sort of sequential. I'm just looking at that now. Yeah, so yes, I think well, that's my reading of it actually. I'd normally associate contiguous with, no, it means continuous. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. Brain, stop distracting me. These groups of cells cannot overlap. Right, so when we split up these lines into sections that add up to 10, what you couldn't do, for example, is say those 3 add up to 10, and then those 4 add up to 10, because this would be in both sets, and that's naughty. We mustn't do that. Every cell is part of exactly one group. Okay, well that sort of makes sense. And digits may repeat on a 10 line. So what's that going to mean? Well, we've got a 10 line where digits could repeat. So imagine that those 2 squares were both 4, and that was a 2, and that was a 10 sum. That would be totally fine. And then we could have a 10 sum down there, a 10 sum there, and a 10 sum there. Something like that would be a way to fill this long orangey yellow line in the middle of the grid. Right, that's all the rules. Oh no, it's not. I had to scroll. Sorry. Cells separated by a white dot contain consecutive digits. Not all dots are given. Okay, so imagine this square was a 4. This square here would have to be a 3 or a 5. I momentarily paused there because for some reason my brain didn't see this cell as the end of the palindrome, and I was thinking, well, hang on, how could this palindrome ever work? Because that cell's going to be there and it's going to break the rules of Sudoku. But clearly my brain is playing tricks on me today. Robot, robot, robot. Anyway, do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. My phone is buzzing at me. As usual, it's WhatsApp. Does WhatsApp buzz at you? I wonder. Right, how do you get started here? The answer to that is I don't know. Maybe here. Yes, here. Okay, I'm going to start in this box and looking at this line, which we can see this line entirely. It doesn't leave box 7 at all, does it? So I think we can avail ourselves of a secret to help us determine what the sum of this line is. We know that the sum of this line is a multiple of 10 because that's by the nature of the rules. So one question might be, does this add up to, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 or 40? It can't add up to more than 40 by the secret. So the secret is that any, and it's something I only tell my very favourite people, but the secret is that any complete row, any complete column, and any complete box of a Sudoku contains the digits 1 to 9, once each. And those digits add up to 45. So this box sums to 45, but this line sums up to, well, it can't sum up to 10 because it's 6 cells long, and the triangular number for 6 is 21, i.e. if we were to put 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1 on this line, which is the least we could put on, it would add up to 21. So it's got to add up to at least 30, and it can't add up to 40 for many reasons, but one of those reasons is you can't make those 3 digits only add up to 5, because if these were 1, 2 and 3 they would add up to 6, and that basically means the maximum sum of that line is 39. So in fact we know that those 6 yellowy orange digits add up to 30, which means that there are 3 10 clumps included on this line. And if there are 3 10 clumps, one of the things that we know about a 10 clump is that you can't do it in one cell, because 10 is not a Sudoku digit. So each of the 10 clumps is at least 2 cells, and there need to be 3 of them. So what this tells us is we can divide this line up. Now I'm just wondering whether the way to divide it up is going to be by colours or by lines. I'm not sure what the right answer is. I think I'll start off with lines like that, although I'm very prepared to move to colours. Now the other thing that tells us, if this line adds up to 30, this line adds up to 15 by the secret to get 45 overall for the box, which means those 3 cells on the palindrome add up to 15. Right, now I'm not very desperate to pencil mark this, but one of those digits is a 5, I can see. And the reason is that these 10 clumps that we've got in box 7 can't have a 5 on them, because each of them is 2 cells long, and if you put 5 on you'll have to put double 5. So 5 is in one of these 3 squares, which means 5 is in one of those 3. Maybe I will pencil mark that. I hate pencil marking a cornered 5 across a box, but we've literally got nothing else to say. So yeah, okay, so there's sort of a virtual 10 clump hidden in this. This is made up of a 10 clump and or a 2 cell 10 clump and a separate 5. Right, what about this 10 line then? Can we divide this one up? No, I mean it's quite interesting how much the pressure leaves a 10 clump once it leaves its box. Because this well, it could be that that's a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple, and that's a 2 cell 10 clump, or it could be there's a 3 cell 10 clump and another 3 cell 10 clump, or that could be 1, 2, 3, 4, and that could be a 10 clump. What about this? No, I sort of feel that the more boxes these 10 clumps go through, the more flexible they are. Hang on, maybe it's the given 1. Well, no, it's not. I mean, what we could say, if this was a 3 cell 10 clump, because it can't include a 1, it would be 2, 3, 5. That's the only way of making 3 different Sudoku digits add up to 10 if you can't use a 1. But there's nothing to prevent this. Well, in fact, there's nothing to prevent that being... Oh, that's vicious. Wow. I think there's nothing to... Oh, no, there is. Okay. I was going to say it could... Well, if this 1 wasn't here, this could have been a 5-cell sequence adding up to 10. But it can't be because the 1 is here. The minimum sum of those is 2, 3, 4, which is 9. So we could have a 1 here, and this could be a 4-cell 10 clump. Right, so maybe we have to look at the palindromes then. So what I'm doing there is I'm just looking at, I know these 2 digits are the same, and I'm trying to see what that means from a Sudoku perspective. Sorry, I am not getting this at the moment. Let me okay, right, what about this one? I can say something about this one. Right, look at those 2 digits. Actually, yeah, maybe this is better to use colouring for the palindromes. So these 2 digits are the same by palindrome, and these 2 digits are the same by palindrome. Now that's interesting, because neither of these digits, the green or the purple digit, can go here, look. Because if they did go there, they're going to go there on this other palindrome, and they're going to clash with themselves. So this... right, hang on. Well, that means 2 things. It means they go down here, and these 2 squares add up to 10 now. That's surely relevant. Because they can't go here by Sudoku, they've got to go at the bottom of column 3. So these add up to 10. It's going to be this digit, I think. So that digit, if it's part of a domino, when I say a domino, I mean if it's... We know that to make a domino out of purple, you have to add green to it, because that's what this is telling us. And you can't add green to it there or there on this orange line, because green is here in the box. So this cell is part of a longer clump. But it could join up with this cell in a 3 clump. In fact, it could join up, but it could be a part of a 4 clump. Or it could, no, it can't be that, because that would be isolated. So it either reaches into, okay, hang on. Maybe, no, it's got loads of options, I think. This is I thought this was going to be important, but what I'm seeing is that it is true to say this is not part of a 2-cell 10 clump. But it could be part of a 3-cell 10 clump. It could be part of a 4-cell 10 clump. Or it could be part of a 3-cell 10 clump that way. It can't be part of a 4-cell 10 clump that way, because that cell would be isolated. Right, okay, so that's... Oh, okay, so that's weird, because I thought that was going to be important. It felt that felt like a break-in, didn't it? That you couldn't put these squares here. Now, I wonder if there's something similar going on with this palindrome. Let's just think about that. We have got the same sort of pattern. Yes. Yes, well, yes, but it has a different effect. This is interesting. So, let's, in fact, I'm going to use colours again for this. Those 2 cells, let's make those red. And these 2 cells, they can be orange. Now, again, by Sudoku, therefore, orange and red are in these 3 squares, and I don't think they can go in this one again, because that square is the transposition of this cell along this palindrome. So that square would go there and it would clash. So these two squares are orange and red, but they are not. Oh, all right. So what? Okay, I can't see what that's doing. I was noticing they aren't on a 10 line, or they're not both on a 10 line. But there's something more interesting here. This square is getting transposed by the palindrome to that square and can't be orange. So that is red, which means that is red, which means this is orange. And orange is on the 10 line. And hang on, hang on, I'm sure there's something here. Let me just think about this. What's that telling me? Oh, why, Simon, can you not grasp this? This is... I'm sure it's to do with this. I just can't quite see what I'm meant to be appreciating about it. So orange is on a 2-cell 10 line here with something. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm not getting this at all. I think... Why can't I see this? This is absolutely inept. It must... I mean, it's... Again, it's a bit like this, actually. It feels incredibly... Feels incredibly sensible that this colouring is emerging. It feels like that must be relevant somehow. But I'm not understanding it. Why can't I see what this is doing? Oh no. Oh dear. Okay. Sorry, I realise I've just stopped talking. It's because I'm a bit baffled as to how I'm meant to do anything with this. Am I supposed to know something about how big this digit is? I mean, I can see it's on a 10 line here. And what does that mean? This is awful. Is there some other deduction I'm supposed to be appreciating here? I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry. Do we know... I want to say I know something about this digit, but I really don't think I do. I suppose I know one thing. Okay, I do know one thing about this digit. I know that this digit is not the digit that goes with orange, that adds orange up to 10 in a domino. Because we know that digit is this digit. That digit is the digit that pairs up with orange and adds up to 10. So imagine this was, I don't know, an 8. If that's an 8, that is a 2 by the 10 line logic in box 7. And this can't be a 2 because it can't be the blue digit. So this 10 line here, well, this orange digit is part of at least a 3-cell clump, therefore. But it could be part of a 4-cell clump. We even thought about that earlier. So I suppose, okay, if this has to be part of at least a 3-cell clump, we can limit the size of this digit. It can't be bigger than 5, and it can't be 5 because 5 is not orange. Yeah, I'm going to claim that is a low digit. Sorry, okay, that I think is clear now I think about it. So because this clump has to extend at least to here, imagine that, well, we know this can't be a 5 because it can't be a 5 by the box 7 logic because it's in this position. And it can't be 6 or 7 because they would require a 1 to complete the clump in one of these two squares, because the minimum these could add up to, given they can't be 1, is a 2-3 pair. So this is a low digit that's not a 1. Now, I think, right, so now I'm changing my mind about how this works. I think it might be to do with this column. Is that really true, though, Simon? Is that really true? Because I feel like there's going to be a restriction in terms of low digits in this column. That might not be true. I'm going to label this digit up. This is 6, 7, or 8. Now, what does that mean? So these, okay, I think I've got to think about these. What are the options for this clump? The clump might go here, but if it's a 4-cell clump, given that these have a minimum size of 2, 3, and 4, if it's a 4-cell clump, this is a 1. And this is a 2, 3, 4 triple. So option 1 is that this is a 2, 3, 4 triple. The other option, and this is a 1, but I can't pencil that, it's too ludicrous for words. The other option is that this is a 3-cell triple, in which case it's 2, 3, 5, and there would be a 5 in one of these squares. So this, right, so this clump always has 2 and 3 in it, because it's either 2, 3, 4 with a 1, or it's 2, 3, 5. Okay. Okay, that's got to be interesting then. Because now I might be able to conclude something about the top of this column, given we can't have 2 or 3 in it. So 2 of the low digits have gone. So if this was a 3-cell sequence, yeah, yes, okay, so one way of thinking about this, if we take all of those squares together, that's a 6-cell sequence which cannot have a repeated digit in it. And we looked at this back here. 6 cells where you can't have a repeated digit adds up to at least 21, because that's the triangular number for 6. And that's impossible, because 21 is not 20. So in fact, we've now learned that this top 10 line here has a divider here. Now, the other thing we've learned is that we know what these two digits are, roughly, because they can't involve 2 or 3. So the low digit in this domino is either 1 or 4. So this is either 1, 9 or 4, 6. And now we've used up 3 low digits. And this must have a... Right, here you go. This is not going to do anything, is it, actually? Oh, this is so nearly doing something. I don't think it is quite. Oh, no, this is good. We are good. Right, now I want to look at this domino, because how many low digits are there in this domino? And by a low digit, I mean 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s. Now, the answer cannot be 0. Because if this had no low digits in it, this domino, it would be at least a 5 and a 6, and it would add up to 11, which is going to break our 10 clumpage. So there must be a low digit here. And that low digit, combine it with a low digit here, that's 2 low digits. If this was 2, 3, 4, that would be too many low digits in the column. There are only 4 low digits, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, and they are used up 2 and 3 down here, 1 of 1 and 4 here, and 1 of 1 and 4 here. So this cannot be 2, 3, 4 and must be 2, 3, 5. And therefore, that is a clump. Don't really know how to draw that like that. That's actually worked beautifully. So this is 2, 3, 5. There is one. Ah! Well, that's not 5. Did we know that already? No, we didn't know that already, because red could have been 5. So red is not 5. Now, well, red is high now, because it's not. Because one of these is low, that means 1, 2, 3, 4 have gone in the column, and 5 has gone in the column. So this is 6, 7, 8, or 9, which means these squares are 6, 7, 8, or 9. Now, here's another thought though. There's one low digit in this domino. This clearly can't be a 3-cell sequence adding to 10, because this cell would then have to be a 10 on its own. And it can't be a 4-cell sequence adding to 10, because these two squares would both have to be low, because they would have to be from the only way that... Oh, no, hang on, might be wrong. Because I could have a repeated digit. But the repeated digit would be the low digit. Hang on, let me just think about this. Gosh, that's vicious, actually. What could we have? No, what am I talking about? I can't. Hang on. I don't think that works, but I'm now just questioning my sanity. So let's say that was 4, 6. The minimum size of these two squares would be 1, 7. And that couldn't work. And if this was 1, 9, the minimum size of this would be 4, 6, and that can't. Yeah, I mean, there's just no way. Even allowing for repeated digits, you can't make this add up. It can't be a 4-cell sequence. It just can't, because there's no way to make it add up. So, I mean, the way I'm getting that, I think there's probably an elegant way. I just can't quite see it. But I'm sort of mulling over those two both being 1s, for example, which is what I'd sort of hadn't thought about as I was thinking about it initially. And if they were both 1s, the problem is that this square can't be 6, so we can't do 6, double 1, 2, for example. Because this can't be a 6, because if this is a 1, this is a 4, 6 pair. So you can't do it. And what that means is that this domino has to add up to 10. And that allows us to do that. Whoops. It allows us to do that line. And that... Okay, so now we know this is from 1, 4, 6, 9 as well, because we know it can't include 2 or 3. So this is not 6 or 9. This is now 7 or 8. And we're slowly getting there, aren't we? It's not been a bed of roses, this, so far. It's a very clever puzzle. Well, how can that be? Oh no, that's not a 10 line. That's a palindrome line. So that could absolutely be a 5. Sorry, I was about to make an absolute ricket there. Okay, so in this column now, this is a 7 or an 8. Is that important? Might be. Don't know. Orange is not 4 anymore. That means that's not 6. I've got a 7, 8 pair here, 7, 8 pair. Right, I've got a 7, 8 pair in the row. I've got a dot to deal with, which can't have 7 or 8 on it, so that's 6 or 9, which is going to have a friend up here. Ah, here's another small point that is perhaps worth making. When we looked back at box 7, we knew that we had 3 10 clumps, and then we had a 15 clump, which included a 5. So the two cells in here that are not 5 themselves add up to 10, and one of those is now a 7 or an 8. That must partner up with 2, 3 or 5. So these squares are now from 2, 3, whatever partners up with this to make 10, and 5. And those go on the palindrome. And that's very annoying. Because, oh, well, no, it's not quite as annoying as I thought. I've now got a 2, 3, 5 triple in this row that's somehow emerged. Where? Oh, this is it. Right. Bingo. At last. That's taken me ages. Where's 1 in this box? Now it's there. So that's 1. That's 9 by 10 clumpage. This is a 4, 6 pair. These are 1, 9 pairs now. Let's just see what that's revealing to the world. Well, okay, here's something. That can't be 9. Because 9 in 10 clump language can only ever partner 1. It is the monogamous digit. And where are we going to put the 1? Around either here or here, if this is a 9? Well, you can't, because that's 1. So that's got to be 1. So that's 1, that's 1, that's 9, that's 9. And we might as well, I think, get rid of that colouring now. We can restore it if we need to later on. Well, actually, maybe I might restore it any moment now, but hang on. Okay, so if this is not 1, this is not 9, and if this is not 9, this is not 1. And oh, hang on, this is on a palindrome. Not even thought about this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Right, this square, those two squares are the same number, so I'm going to reinstall the colouring for that. So it looks like they're going to be 1s, doesn't it? If this was 4, 6, there would be a 4 or a 6 in one of those two squares. I'm not sure, actually. What's going on in this row? I think there's something going on. We've not put 4 into it. 4 is definitely in one of those squares. I see, it's 4, 6, 9. Look, it's this one we don't know. And that's the middle of its palindrome, so we can't do anything with that. Okay. That's nearly useful, is it? Do I know what these are? Oh, good grief, I do! Right, that's beautiful. Okay, look at this stubby bit of things. These add up to 10. They're not 1, 9, and they don't involve 7 or 8, so that's a 4, 6 pair. So that's a 1, that's a 9. These two squares up here are 4 and 6, therefore, by a process of elimination. Let's just put that in. And that one goes there. So this is... Oh, right. So these are not 1. Okay, so one of these is a 4 or a 6, but we don't know which one, I don't think. What's going on in this row? I don't know. I've got to put a blue digit in, i.e. this 7 or 8. That's got to go there somewhere. It's in one of those two cells. Actually, you know what we might have to do here, and that's to colour these in terms of which one's which, because I've just realised I can do that. Those two squares are the same digit. These two squares are the same digit. Let's make those... which colour should we have? We can reinstall purple. Let's have purple. That's doing nothing at all, is it? I think. Bother. Okay. What about... Wow, I don't know. Oh, I suppose... Okay. I can colour these two. Because this 235 triple is the same as that 235 triple. And we've got the orange one identified somehow. I don't know how we did that, but we do seem to have done that. So yellow must be that one. And purple must be that one. Right, so that's beautiful. It's very clever, this. It really is, because now I can do some colouring. Because by Sudoku, purple's in one of these two squares, but it can't be there. So that's purple. 235, and yellow must be down here, and that yellow must be there. Let's make sure we use yellow, not green. Now I've got a 235 triple in the bottom row, and that square is a 7 or an 8, and 7 or an 8 that's not red is blue. Yeah, okay, so this is a colouring puzzle, absolutely. These squares are from 4, 6, and 9, which has some relationship. Oh, well, okay. I can see by uniqueness that there's a 9 in one of these, because if this was a 4-6 pair and that's a 4-6 pair, there's nothing about this isn't a palindrome, so there'd be nothing about the logic of the puzzle that would differentiate 4s in these positions, 6s in these versus 6s in these and 4s in these. In either of those situations you always end up with a 4-6 pair in this row, this box and this box, and they won't disturb any other logic in the puzzle. So we do know there's a 9 here, which means I do know this is a 6, and I do know red is a 7. So if you were speed solving, you would use that. But I don't allow myself to use uniqueness when I'm solving on the camera, because I'm always treating the puzzle as if it might not have a unique solution. So I don't allow myself access to that logic, which puts me in the same position as a tester would be in. And we think that that is a better way to showcase puzzles, so I'm not going to allow myself to use that, even though I have seen it. What about... Okay, so let's think, how are we going to do this? Don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I really am not sure. I'd love to know which of these was 5, actually. That feels like it would be worth knowing. Or can we do... I don't know. Sorry, I'm stuck again. We had a brief moment where we were able to spot things with some sort of alacrity, and that has now dissipated, and I'm back to trying to spot whatever the next step is meant to be. Could it be one of these two squares is orange? I can see that. Which of those? I know that orange... Yeah, okay, so I know these two squares are... They are the blue-orange pair in this row. So these do add up to 10 in and of themselves. Cool, that's nearly very interesting, actually. So whatever this is, well, it can't be part of a domino with this square, because the only way this is part of a domino with this square, well, with this square, is if this square and this square are the same, because we know these add up to 10. So let's just think that through. Imagine this was a 7. Then we know this is a 3 because of the maths of this box. And if we tie this one together with this and try and make that a domino, that's not going to work, because that would have to be the 3 that's down here. So whatever this is, this 1 sees the whole of this line. So this is not a 4-cell sequence. So this cell, I want to say that this cell has to join up with the middle digit, which would not be... No, that is important, actually. Right, okay, so we are going to do this very carefully, actually. I want to focus very hard on this digit, because I can see something about it that feels useful. So my contention is that this has to join to this. Let's just try and prove that. So if it doesn't, we've worked out why it can't be just a domino here, because this cell should be there for that to be the case. And it clearly can't join up to this one as well, because then this would be a 10 on its own. And if it was all 4 of them, you'd need, well, you can't put 1 into any of the positions, so this would be at least 2, 3, 4 plus 2, which is 11. So, okay, so I am now prepared to say that these are part of a clump. But there might be a longer clump. I'm not saying it's the end of the clump, but they definitely join together. Now, here's the next thought then. Do I now know that this is not 7 or 8? Because if this was 7 or 8, how could I join it to this square in a clump? Now you might say, you could, Simon, because you could go 7 here, 2 here, and 1 here. Oh, let me just deal with the obvious point first, which is I sort of elided over there. If this is 7, this can't be a domino, obviously, adding up to 10, because we know that whatever this is, it joins this one in a domino. So this is not joining this in a domino. So if it continues, if this is 7, it would have to go 7, 2, and 1 here. But that would mean this has to be a 10 on its own, because this is a clump, so it's not that. Or it could be 7, 2, 1 there, but that doesn't work either. So I think this is low, and therefore we can colour it actually orange. And then this becomes blue, which is 7 or 8. So this is 2 or 3. So I've now got... what have I got now? So this... so now... These two join together. Right, I see. Wow, okay. So now, alright, I don't quite know how to deal with this, but I've spotted something else. Let's think about this cell's clump. Now, we've worked out this can't be a 4-cell clump, because none of the cells could be 1 individually, and that breaks it. Now, could it be a 3-cell clump without a 1? No, because this would be 2, 3, 5. It's the only way of doing that. And that's 2, 3, 5, and by Sudoku then, that would have to be 2, 3, 5 in row 6, but there's a 7 or an 8 here. So that's wrong. And that means that the clump here is a 2-cell clump. There, we should make that red, shouldn't we? That's a 2-cell clump. Now, does that mean... I don't know. I'm not quite sure that I know. I think that's going to be 4, 6, but I'm not certain actually about that. And if that was 4, 6, am I not going to give myself the same... No. Oh, I wouldn't, because the white dot might differentiate it, so there might not be a uniqueness problem with that being 4, 6. Okay, but now this square obviously has to join to these 2 squares in some sort of clump. So this square, the minimum size of those 2 would be 5. So this square is absolutely maxed out at a value of 5. So this is 5, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Why can't I type 2, 3, 4, or 5? Can't be 1 for that reason. I wonder if... Well, we know that's not yellow by Sudoku. Sorry, there might be a way of doing this now which is very clear. I feel it's right on the cusp now. I think we're almost there, aren't we? I just have to have the right thought to finish this off. This square. Well, given that this cell is in this clump now, this is a domino as well, isn't it? That's got to be its own clump. I don't see how that's not true. Because if this was part of this, we know that that is a clump, and that's far too many cells to be in a clump, because all of those are going to add up to at least 10 on their own. So the only way, so this is a domino, and we know that these two squares can't include 2s or 3s, because this is a 2, 3, 5. So this is either 1, 9, which it looks like it wants to be, or 4, 6. Which, oh, come on, which one of those is it? I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I think I'm just missing this. I'm close, I think, but I'm not quite seeing it. Now what I'm going to suggest, though, is that this square can't be 4, because these would have to add up to 6, and I don't see a way they can do given their options. So this is 2, 3 or 5. But this, okay, so I don't, which means it's one of these cells, doesn't it? Because 2, 3 and 5 are yellow, orange and purple. Now, let's just think about this. If this was, well, we can see it's not yellow, so now we know it's either orange or purple. Now, if it was orange, this would be double orange, which implies that this needs to be an even number, and it would have to be, well, the only even number this could be would be 2, and that requires those to be double 4, which it can't be. So I'm now thinking that's purple. And that's absolutely bizarre. It doesn't do anything, does it? So we know that that is a 10 clump. Sorry, I thought that was going to be really useful. I don't think it is. I have a feeling I'm looking at the wrong line or something here. I mean, does it matter now? I mean, this has got all sorts of options, literally all sorts of options. 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, it can't be 5 actually. 6. Now, is there a way that we can... Okay, so red now, this red digit is down here. Oh, I see. Gosh, this is very difficult. Right, okay, this... Right. What is the value of this? Now, this, we've got to be very careful here. Very careful. We know this domino adds up to 10. So imagine this is a 2 or a 3. Now, if it's a 2 or a 3 and it can't be the orange one. We can see that very clearly. So if it's a 2 or a 3, the implication would be it's the yellow one. Well, no, actually, there's a much simpler way of doing this. That can't be 7 or 8 by the fact that's a pair. That's the very, that's, I was trying to do that the most complicated way ever. Don't do it the most complicated ever, do it the simplest way ever. So that's 4 or 6, so that's 4 or 6. So this is a pair. That means 4 and 6 are, not necessarily a pair, but they're, well, no, they are a pair. There's a 4-6 pair in that top row. Well, that's fantastic. And totally unexpected. That is on a, oh, that's on a smelly old line. That's not on the palindrome line. Bobbins. Ah! Okay, that didn't work. Okay, but now this is a 4-6 pair by Sudoku, because 4 and 6 are in 2 of these 3 squares, which means that this domino has to include one of 4 and 6, and once it has to include one of them, it must include both of them. So that is a 4-6 pair, which means this square is a 1, actually, by Sudoku. That's a rare, I mean, it is outrageous, CaptZebraCakes. You're making me do Sudoku in your Sudoku puzzle. Now, okay, well, that's something. I feel like that's progress of a sort. I know one of these is red. Can we do better than that? We know... I'm not sure, actually. We can colour though. These two are the same, aren't they? I'm going to colour those actually. I can see that by sort of Sudoku. Obviously this square is different from this 4-6, but it's also different from this 4-6. So that must be dark green, and there's a light green in one of these. This column needs red 7-8 and orange 2-3. Which I don't think I can do. I might be wrong. Ah, that's blue. Let's actually make that connection, given it's available to us. I have a horrible feeling we've still got quite a lot of work to do here. I know that there's 7s and 8s up there by Sudoku. That's these 7 and 8s interacting. This square is the same as this square by Sudoku, so I know that this square is not 9. And oh dear. Okay, let's actually just take a look at column 1 then, where I can see I've got a lot of pairage available to me. So I've not got the digits 2, 3 and 5 in this column. And we can paint them in. Now, can we colour any of them uniquely? I think the answer, unfortunately, is going to be no. I mean, this one can't be purple, but I think it could be green or, sorry, orange or yellow. Can we see how, is there a way to do that? That one is on the line, so maybe it's this line where everything... I mean, this line's got a lot of heavy lifting to do. Ah, that square maybe. Yeah, this square is palindromic, and it goes there, look. And that means it can't be 9, because it would see 9 along the palindrome. So this square can't be 7, 8, 9, 4, 6 or 1. That's also 2, 3 or 5. So that's 2, 3 or 5. And that's yellow. There we go. That's it. Good grief. Can't be purple, can't be orange. So that's yellow. Right. That means what? I don't know. Okay, orange is in one of those 2 squares. I don't know which one. It's a while since I've done a very challenging colouring puzzle. It's very enjoyable actually. It just makes me feel a bit slow. If this is right, that's even, so that's got to be odd. That can no longer be 2. So that's going to be interesting. Okay, so now purple is always 3 or 5 wherever it appears. Does that do anything to anything. It does mean there's a 2 in one of these squares. Ah, that doesn't quite do it, does it? I thought it might differentiate red 7 and, well, the red-blue pair, but I don't think it does. I've got a 2, 3, 5 triple in this column. So this square now is at least 4. Does it see both colours? It does. Right, here we go. This is it. This is it. What's that digit? Surely that's important. I am going to claim that that is a 7 or an 8 by Sudoku. Let me just think about that. It can't be 1, 2, 3 or 5. It can't be 4, 6 from the row, and it can't be 9. That is 7 or 8. So how on earth... What is this building a pattern with? Clearly it's part of this one, isn't it? So this is rotten. This is so rotten. I need to get rid of... Oh, the palindrome's going to do the work. Wow. Okay. All right. Because what I've been thinking about in my head, I'm sure you've all spotted it, is could this be 1, 7, 2? And I saw that as a possibility, and I was like, that's awful, because it could be right. But it can't be right, because this square is on the this palindrome, and it goes down here, where it can't be a 1. So this is at least a 2, which means that we can't make a 3-cell 10 clump at the start of this line. This is a 2-cell 10 clump, and therefore this square is 2 or 3, but it's not orange, and it's not, so it's purple. It's got to be purple, and that means, oh, hang on. Well, is that okay then? Well, it's got, that seems to me to be proving that purple is 3 wherever it appears. So let's trust that logic. Now, if purple is 3, we then know that orange is 2. And if orange is 2, we know blue is 8 by mathematics, which means red is 7 by colouring. It means that now yellow is 5 because it's not 2 or 3. That square has become a 7, which is a red square by mathematics, or yeah, it is mathematics, isn't it? 3 plus 7 is where we're going with that. This 5 has to join to something which cannot be 6, because this is a clump now. So it must be 4. So dark green has become 4, which means light green is 6. 5, 4, 1 is the clump, look. 5, 4, 1. Which means those two squares, right, that can't be 5. This has got to be 8, because it's got to be high. The clump here is drawn between these two squares. And we can't have 7 here, so it's got to be 8 with 2. 3 makes this 5. And that's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. Which reminds me, actually, somebody sent something to us from a YouTube channel I'd never seen before. It was called There I've Ruined It. And I'd never seen this channel. And basically what it does is it does music which it ruins. Like there was Mariah Carey singing in all 12 keys or something. And it sounded horrific. And they've combined the Little Mermaid song. Which one is it? It's By the Sea or something. With Losing My Religion by REM, and it's just horrific. It is just horrific, but it is quite funny as well. So thank you whoever sent that in. I can't remember who it was, but it did amuse me. Right, let's do some Sudoku. Those have got to be 5 and 7 now. So in this column, what have we not put in? 7. That's got to go here, and that's got to be a 2. So this now might get easier. Famous last words, but that seems to have to be a 3-9 pair. In this row, which means that's not 3. So this is a 2-5 pair. Do we do palindrome? Yes, that's a 3 on the palindrome. So that's a 3, that's a 9. 1, 2 and 5 have to be placed in this column. So that's a 1 or a 2. That's a 1, 2, or a 5. That's 1, 2, or 5, not 5. Oh, we know. Oh, no, we don't know. No, we don't know. I was about to spout nonsense. Right, this is a 7, 8 pair. We know that. So that's 7. That's 8. I'm going to amend all the colouring momentarily. We need 1, 2, and 9 over here. So that's the naked single. That's got to be 9. That's got to be 1, 2, 5, 2, 5. That seems to have to be 1, 2. So that is the orange digit now. Let's actually do that. Make sure that's clear. We've got to put 6 and 8 into these squares. I don't know the order. But look, 6s are aligning. So we can ask where 6 goes in this column. And we know it's in one of those two positions. Because it can't be here anymore. Which means that's no longer 6. That's probably resolved somehow in a manner I can't see. Oh, look, 7, 8, 9 into those squares by Sudoku. And that means that's 8. And that's 7, and that's 9. That feels like it's done a lot of work, but I can't see. I can't see what it's done. This is not 9 anymore, so this is 4 or 6. So these are green pairings. Ah, but that means that's 9, so that might do it. That's now 6, 6, 4, 4, 9. Oh, that 4 is doing it. I wondered what was going on there. So that's 6, that's 8. We've not put 8 into this, so that's 8, that's 1. That's 4, that's 6. Oh, and then the white dot's necessary to do the last little possible deadly pattern. So 4, 4, 6, 6. Now, we haven't finished. I don't think we have, because we haven't converted everything to the correct colours. 4s definitely deserve a colour. 6s deserve a colour. 5s, have I done 5s now? I might have done. 8s are blue. Reds are 7. Oranges are 2. So 1s and 9s are the only uncoloured digit. Oh, 3s should have a colour. Purple. And, right, so it's a bit mean, isn't it, to leave the others out. So we will give them colours. We'll make 1s black, and we'll make 9s grey. And that's made a proper mess. See if it's right. Yay! You solved the puzzle. 26 people in 3 days. Okay, so it's taken me 58 minutes to solve. That felt like an hour's puzzle to me. I definitely did not find that easy. It's got some really interesting logic around how you build, how these palindromes interact with the 10 lines and how you can sort of force digits. I think colouring was the way to go with this one, but maybe I could have done it more efficiently if I looked at the lines in a different order, because I definitely felt, I had to really think hard about this cell to crack it open, and there might have been a better way to do it than that. But yeah, it's a brilliant puzzle. CaptZebraCakes, 10:01 AM. Thank you very much for entertaining me this afternoon. I enjoyed that mightily, and I've created a chromatic spectacle for you. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.